basically we work with media rights owners from the leagues, like how you and I met through the NBA, working directly with the leagues, broadcasters, OTT platform, basically everyone who owns rights of sports, and we help them maximize the use of content in different type of location, if it's social, app, website, OTT, different locations, by automating the creation of highlights. So from the moment we are able to we get a live stream of the game, our system automatically analyze and identify every action of the game, right? Every goal, every goalkeeper save, every dunk. We analyze it and identify it, but also able to create storytelling automatically, like in the end of every game, creating a game highlights, a recap of it of 5 minutes, 10 minutes, top goals of the week, and so on and so forth. Everything automated from end to end with our AI machine learning capabilities. So AVGen, it's stand for Automatic Video Generator. It's more our automation hub. So there's like two main workflows that our users are using there. One is basically create video on demand. You put a request for a video, 2 minutes, head-to-head between Messi and Cristiano, and from last month, and the system creates it. So that's one workflow. Another one is our rules system. So it's a more of if this then that, which is the core of our technology. Our users, and again, different type of clients, just go there and set rules in the system. Every time there is a goal, create a video and send it to all of the users via push notification. And even let's take UEFA, only once a week, create the top highlights of Brazilian players. We're getting up to that type of like details of Brazilian players, and post it on Facebook, geo-targeted to Brazilian only. And that's kind of, so you set rules in the system. We have clients with more than 500, 1,000 rules that's creating a big amount of videos that they're able to distribute automatically to a lot of different partners. But in a lot of the cases, so there's the type of content that you need, you can do complete automation end to end, but there's some, let's call it premium content that you just want to, editors want to tweak a bit, want to change, and that's where Clipro comes in. That Clipro is our cloud-based editing tool, a more place to have more manual work that goes alongside with the automation. So you can create a lot of rules. A lot of them you can just publish and distribute in seconds, but also sometimes you want to add, maybe you want to add a kiss cam, or you want to add the fans celebration that our system doesn't recognize automatically of pitch games. Maybe the press conference in the end of the game, you want to incorporate it into the video you just create automatically, and that's how you basically do it.
And Clipro is also where you get all the highlights that are being cut in real time, right?
Correct.
So that's perfect.
Clipro, you're able to get all the play-by-play that I told you before that we're able to identify. So every action of the game, from every tackle that might be not important. I didn't mention it, but basically one of our key technologies is the ability for us to also provide a rating for every action that we detected. So if it's just a tackle or just a pass, that doesn't really matter, or wasn't anything special, might be 1 star, might be. And, a buzzer beater, last second game-winning shot, half court might be a 5-star play. So our system kind of provide a rating for every play and helps our partners to be able to filter and search every video that are looking for much easily as well. So we started kind of our claim of fame was basketball and starting with NBA. Today, I don't know the exact number, but I would say around more than 80% of all of the highlights you're seeing of the NBA across different type of platforms is being created using WSC. But today we're doing 17 different type of sports, from soccer, football, American football, tennis, motor racing, volleyball, and so on and so forth. Even some stuff with esports like NBA 2K and others. So.
And what is the how do you start to work with a different sport? Is it something that requires a lot of development? How does that work, that workflow?
Yeah, so it does take us, there is some development and adjustment we need to do. Basically, we need to teach our system how to look at the sport. So let's say there's a new sport that we currently don't cover. I'll give an example like lacrosse, which we don't have automation yet. We're going to need to teach our system how the sports look like. What is an action, the type of actions, usually how in highlights is looks like, the parameters. Our system needs to understand how to read and create those game highlights. What is a must be on those things? How does it look? Kind of like best practices. I would say that it usually takes us between 6 to 8 weeks to develop a new sport. I think maybe before I tell ideas, I give a bit of how I see like the business. But basically, there's a lot of stuff. A lot of what happening right now with WC in the last few years was around the pre and post game, and we are in the recent years tapping into much more the live and what you can do around the live. So I would say one of our biggest projects and products is for the live is an OTT offering for creating and taking the play-by-play that we're identifying and creating in what we call an enhanced live experience for fans while watching the game. Have different ways to kind of engage with the game, being able to catch up. So let's say you came back and missed the first half, you're going to be able to click on one button and say, hey, show me the first half recap. Or you're only interested in Brazilian players and nothing else matters. You're going to be able to say, okay, show me just kind of highlights of the Brazilian players while you're watching the game. So a lot of those things we've been launching and working with different clients. And so that's one area. Another one we've been focusing on is in the betting space. So as betting is becoming legalized in the US, in Brazil soon, Latin America, and different countries, how can you utilize content to help betting operators to create a better experience, better engagement with the fans, kind of a much more hub. If you place the bet as a fan, as a user, you're probably much more into the game, but you're interested in other stuff like fantasy. You're not just interested in the game itself, but maybe there's statistics that you're interested in. And with that comes different type of usage of content. So those are the areas where we're mainly focusing right now. I will start. It did create some difficulties, and not because the need didn't grow. The need for our solution just grew, but obviously the sports industry lost, and it's still struggling in a lot of countries. And in getting back to it, sponsors left. A lot of planned revenue, fans not in the stadium, and so on and so forth. So it did affect. In a lot of cases, and obviously we're trying to help and work with our partners, but it affected the entire industry globally, from Brazil to China. It affected everyone, right? The fact there were no games, a lot of uncertainties affected it. Having said that, it did create a lot of much more dependency in solution like WC. Number one, we're a cloud-based tool. A lot of our partners and we've been working with, a lot of their departments needed still, a lot of solutions were on-premise. Now they're working from home, and they can have WC working from home for them and helping them maximize the use of content. That one way. Another one is the growth of archive. So now you can say, okay, there's no games. What do? I'm a lot of the sports organization are people are not aware, but they are an entertainment business. It's media. They need to create content that people need to engage with. So there's no live games. Maybe you need to use past games or like archive games, and it's a lot. And how do you filter it? How do you search for it? How do you utilize it? So it's another way you can use our system, right, to ingest and provide archive games to easier creating content like on this date, and if a player has a birthday. So engaging with archive, it's another way during the pandemic that arose the need for WSC. I think in general, the sports business for a lot of years kind of was able to create a business that makes sense for them. And in the recent years, and innovation is cutting up right now when I'm talking about the media space. And there's a lot of changes that a lot of those organizations are still not 100% sure how they want to look into it. If you're starting to see what we call the cord cutting from, the Netflix of the world, so ESPN Plus and Apple might be getting into sports. Amazon is starting to acquire rights. Facebook has some rights. Tech companies are getting into the sports space, and the more conglomerate companies and old school media companies are still not 100% sure how they want to tap into it. So I would say that innovation is something that is being discussed a lot, but it's not always easy to kind of convince. For us as a tech company, and I'm not just talking about working with our solution. I'm talking about, we talked about innovation and other stuff we can do, betting. A lot of those things make so much sense for a lot of different people, but just takes a lot of time for kind of legal be around that and having the right approach and strategy. So I think that's one of our, I would say, the biggest challenges is how you actually take our technology or take any sports tech technology and say, you have a vision. A lot of different companies have the vision, and it makes sense for everybody. Just changing how things were used to work is not easy, just because it was so comforting and for a lot of years. One, I think our vision is to make sure we are working with, I said maybe 90%, we're working with 100% of the biggest sports organization worldwide, from rights holders, broadcasters, OTT. That's one. The second is the ability to actually impact how fans are consuming sport, pre-game, post-game, and live. And I think the second one is really important. If we're able to impact it, if it's, I think we've done something big. So that's, I would say, the biggest thing is disruption of how we are consuming sports by the growth of highlights.